this video is going to age like fine wine, or it's going to age like milk. And I personally hope it ages like milk because, honestly, I want nothing but success and victory for One Punch Man. But after, the recent stuff with One Punch Man, all the news that's came out, or the lack of news, it has really made my overall expectations for Season 3 rock bottom. And I really hope that in a few months from now, like 4 months from now, when, One Punch Man Season 3 airs, people could come back to this video and be like, see, Chibi, you were worried for nothing. See, Chibi, it actually is good. See, Chibi, it actually, the video did age like milk. I hope I see those comments in 4 months. I really hope I do, because it looks like this video is going to age like wine. That's at least my expectation. So let's get right into it and why this video is being made in the first place. So this is news that came out earlier this morning from Murata himself, basically saying that the manga of One Punch Man is going to be going on a hiatus for about 2 months. It is set to return in July of 17th, and that's, not that long, honestly. 2 months, it might seem like a lot, but it's really not in the grand scheme of things. But it basically is going on hiatus. And when I saw this news this morning, it instantly made me think about the current state of One Punch Man and the anime and the lack of news that we have gotten around it. And also maybe why this is happening to begin with. So let's get right into that one. So at this point in time, the last information or update we got on the One Punch Man anime for Season 3, from my knowledge, is this trailer that came out 2 months ago. And there's been a lot of people that have, analyzed this, talked about it, and even showcased that there was a lot of, cutting of corners within this PV trailer. Like, for a good example, like, for instance, you see Dark Shine here in the back. If you look at his overall, model, how he looks in this trailer, and you kind of fast forward a little bit, you will see that they literally add him back into the trailer, but they just flip his actual model. So they literally flip the image and put him in the background once again. And this doesn't really give any form of confidence to the quality of the anime when they're having to literally flip a character design within their own PV trailer, which is meant to hype up things, which is meant to hype up people's expectations for the anime that is set to air. And the time of when this actually released, basically, we found out that One Punch Man was going to be airing in 6 to 7 months. And as you know, One Punch Man Season 3 is set to air this upcoming October, which literally says on my anime list. And if you scroll down and you go even further, the actual news gets a little bit darker. There's still, to this very day, there is no announcement who is directing this season. We don't have the staff listing yet. Now, this can easily be fixed maybe when, Anime Expo happens in a few months from now, which, funny enough, happens around the same time that Murata, this thing right here, where Murata is going to be coming back from hiatus. So, most likely, there's definitely some correlation there with Anime Expo, probably the anime in that. I could be wrong, maybe I'm looking too deep into that one, but the point of the matter is that, the overall staff listing and announcement could happen probably this upcoming July when Anime Expo happens, but it's still pretty concerning because usually at this time, you kind of already have a good idea of who's going to be working on the project, at least a director. You at least usually have something like that, but the fact that we still don't have really any names associated with it besides the obvious is, concerning, at least to me. I could be, once again, a little bit too over-concerned, but that is not normal. It is definitely not normal. As someone that's seen a lot of, anime announcements for all these years, it is definitely not a normal circumstance to literally have, at this point in time, with only 4 months remaining until this airs, literally no staff listing. That's just, yeah, scary. Now, let's go a little bit deeper. So, one thing I want to point out about this PV trailer is that it is very rough. It is absolutely just, very basic, simplistic. It legitimately barely has any movement. It's pretty much still frames, lip flaps, and PNG movement, and I think that legitimately is concerning, especially when you think about what the project is. For instance, when you think about what One Punch Man is in general, it is a series that requires a lot of movement, a lot of artistic skill, and it requires a really strong animation team, or just a staff in general. It requires requires all hands on deck to really make a high quality product. And as we all saw from when Season 2 released from JC staff, going back in time a little bit, we all saw how people's reactions to Season 2 of One Punch Man was. It was, not met with really good high expectations. People did not like it as much as they liked Season 1, and the reason for that is because there was just never any way that Season 2 was going to be as good as Season 1 was. But the thing is it still had movement. Looking back at it, going back to previous episodes, Season 2 isn't fundamentally horrible. It isn't. Obviously, it's not as good as Season 1, but it's not a horrible season. And so, when you factor in that it's going to be the same exact studio working on Season 3, and JC staff is very well known and notorious for having too many projects back to back and not being able to, actually manage properly with production and everything, it's looking like One Punch Man is a sinking ship. It's looking like it's a ship that is literally on lifeboats, and it is going to just crash and burn as soon as it releases. There might be some few good moments and all that, but it looks like for the majority of it, it's going to be a very soulless or lifeless husk of what it theoretically could be. That's at least my impressions thus far. And so, yeah, that's the reason why I'm making this video. I'm just like, I was thinking about the news today. I was like, we have literally only 4 months until the anime airs, and we have literally next to really nothing about this. We don't really know much about, like, who is going to be a part of the staff or anything, and the fact that we have something like this, it's just like, why? Why are we, like, getting this type of trailer? Why do we not have a really good trailer? Like I said, I hope this video ages like milk. Please let this video age like milk. I really, really hope that, I see comments a few months from now, people saying, nah, Chibi, you were dead wrong. Please let that be a thing. I have never wanted to be so wrong in my entire life than now, because I want One Punch Man Season 3 to be good. I don't want it to be bad, because it can easily be one of the best shows of this year if given a good anime. But I'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for watching. May all of you stay healthy, safe, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Chibi out.